Welcome to the 3D house construction activity. In this activity, you'll construct a 3D house model using cardboard, geometry, world math. You'll measure rooms, calculate volume, surface area, find angles using Pythagorean theorem, and even estimate some cost. So let's turn those blueprints into buildings. In this activity, these are some of the materials you might use. So you have wooden dowel rods, craft sticks, you have colored construction paper, a calculator, you have blueprint paper here, you have a geometry set, a math notebook, clear glue, tape, you also have scissors, eraser, sharpener, glue stick, pencil, crayons, and sticky labels, and a ruler. What we're going to do is we're going to convert our house floor plan from 2D to 3D. So first thing we'll do is we'll transfer these outer wall dimensions onto this foundation. All of our 3D items will be on top of this foundation. So let's go ahead and transfer these dimensions here. So we have this wall was 8 inches. By 6 inches here. And we'll finish the outline. Okay, so we have this wall which was 16 feet, this wall which was 12 feet, and we can draw the inner walls again. So let's see, at 4 inches here we make a marking. And then I can draw this inner wall. And then we have at 3 inches, we have a marking there. 3 inches. Let's draw the other inner walls. Okay. So we've replicated the 2D floor plan onto the foundation of our 3D building. Next, we're going to start drawing the outlines here of the walls that will become the 3D portion like this. So let's see. For this first wall, we again have a wall that will be 8 inches. Okay, and we're gonna want this wall to be 4 inches tall. And if we scale it to real world dimensions, it'll be 8 feet tall. So let's go ahead and draw the 4 inch tall, that becomes the 8 foot tall. So here is the wall that will go here, and we'll cut the outline. And actually we're gonna create 3 of these because we have one that goes here, one that goes here, and one that goes here. So here are the cutouts for the 3 walls. We have one that will go here, another one here, and lastly another one here. So now I'm going to create the cutouts for these walls. So remember, these walls here are 6 inches. So we're going to make a outline that is 6 inches by 4 inches tall. So let's go ahead and do that here. So we have 6 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so here we have it. Now, what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to add 1/2 inch more on each side, so up to here. So I'll go ahead like this, and this. The reason for this is that I'm going to use this area as a way of connecting this wall. So we'll need a little bit of extra space. And I'll do the same thing on this side. So it's gonna look like this. And again, I'm gonna have 3 of these because we have 1, 2, and 3 walls. And here I have the cutouts for all the walls that will go here, all the internal walls. So again, I also have the cutouts for the bigger wall here. So let's go ahead and label the dimensions on these walls. So we have 16 feet by 4 feet. So that's what we have on all of these. And then on this one, we have 12 feet by 4 feet. What we want to do next is find the area or the surface area of each of these walls. So we can find the surface area of this one, and it'll give us a surface area of all 3. And then the surface area of here, it'll give us the surface area of all 3. So let's start with this one here. So we have the area will be length times width. So we have the length is 16 feet times 4 feet. So if we use our calculator, we can multiply 16 times 4, which is 64. So we have 64 feet, and then surface area is squared. So 64 feet squared. Next one here, we have area as well. Length times width. The length is 12 feet. The width is 4 feet. So we have 12 times 4 is equal to 48. So we have 48 feet squared. And that is the area, surface area for these walls. So the way I'm going to connect these walls here is I'm going to make a cut from this shorter wall from top to the center here. So cut like this, and then I'm going to make another cut from here to here, and that'll allow these pieces to connect. So the way I'm going to do it is from top to middle. I'll make these cuts. So we can measure here. We're going to cut to 2 inches. So I'll cut from here down to the 2 inches. Careful not cut further. Okay, see, we have from top to the 2 inches. Same thing from here. We'll do the same for this wall, so we'll have a cut here, here, here. So we have at the center, it is 4 inches, and we will cut from bottom to center, no more than 2 inches. From bottom to center, no more than 2 inches. And here, from bottom to center, no more than 2 inches as well. So, not too far to the edge. We'll start cutting. There we go. And let's make sure we make all 3 cuts. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. From bottom to center, bottom to center, bottom to center. On the side walls, it was from top to center. And the reason for that is that these can now slide into each other like this. And there you go. So now let's make sure we make cuts on all the walls. So we have the same cuts on all other smaller walls and the same cuts on the other bigger walls. Now that we have all the cuts made, we can start putting the walls together. So again, the smaller walls have a cut from the top to the midpoint. The wider wall has from the bottom to the midpoint, and this allows for these to be connected. So here we have this one, it's connected. This next one can also be connected here. Like that. So we have 2 so far, and the last one here. Okay, so we have 3 walls here, and we'll add this one here, and then this one here. One more cut we need to make is going to be here at the center. So midpoint down to 2 inches. Same thing with all of these. That way we can insert this wall into center. So then we'll insert the center wall like this. Okay. There we go. And we could slide the wall down. can now install the last wall here. And there we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walls. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms. So this is one method of building the walls. We can also use the craft sticks. We could use the wooden dowel pins. And next steps would be to add a roof here. And we can also glue this to the base and add some decorations. But before we do that, there are a few things that I'd like to determine. So we do have surface area, and we have, now that we have height, we have 3 dimensions. So we can also determine volume of each of the rooms. So let's take a look at the volume and the surface area. I want to know how much surface area is on the outside walls. And the reason I want to know this is I want to understand how much paint will be required to paint the outside of the house. So we already calculated the surface area previously, and on the long wall we had, for an example, we have, this represents the long wall, and we said that the surface area was 64 feet squared. Then we had this smaller wall here, and this one was calculated to be 48 feet squared. Okay, so we have 2 of those smaller walls. All right, so that is 48 feet squared. We have another one of these larger walls. (64 feet squared). So we have 4 walls on the outside, and we have all the surface areas. In order to find the total surface area, we'll just add all of these numbers up. So we can do 48 feet squared plus 64 feet squared plus 48 feet squared plus 64 feet squared. So we can add all these numbers up. 48 plus 64 plus 48 plus 64. 224 feet squared. That is the surface area of all the walls on the outside. Now let's calculate how much it would cost to paint 224 feet squared of surface area. And let's assume that it cost $100 per 100 feet squared. So how do we determine how much it would cost in total to paint the 224 feet squared? So this is a conversion factor. So what we can do is we will multiply the area that we have times this conversion factor. So we'll have in the numerator $100 to 100 feet. Okay. So then if we use our calculator, when we have a whole number, we can add a 1 to the denominator, and it doesn't change the number, so we have a fraction times a fraction now. So we have 224 feet squared, 224 feet squared times 100. So we multiply from here across. That is 22,400. Now, denominator gets multiplied 1 times 100. So it's 100. All right, divide these. 22,400 divided by 100 equals 284. And since we had units of area here and here, these cancel out and we're left with only the units of dollars. So it would cost us $224 to paint 224 feet squared of wall. Now I want to determine how much volume is in each room. So each room are the same exact dimensions, so we can find the volume of one room and that'll tell us the volume of all rooms. So let's take a look at here. For example, the living room. So let's draw out the living room in 3D space. So we have 8 by 6, and then remember we have a height as well. So I'll go ahead and let's draw a 3D version of the room. Okay, so we said we had 8 feet, 8 feet by 6 feet, and then we said that the height of the walls was measured to be 4 inches on the ruler, or in other words 8 feet if we scale it up to the real world. So we have 3 dimensions here. In order to find the volume, we use volume, which is length times width times height. So we have length is going to be the 8 feet times the width, which is going to be 6 feet, times the height, which is going to be 8 feet. So we have 8 times 6 times 8, and that's equal to 384 feet cubed. Since it's volume, we have 1, 2, 3 units of feet, and we have 384 feet cubed per room. So this again is only representing the kitchen, but all rooms are the same exact dimensions. In this activity, you learned about coordinates, you learned about surface area, you also learned about volume. And the last step here is for you to finalize your 3D creation of your dream home. Make sure you make it unique and very creative and artistic.